Hello and welcome, I'm Pheasant, and today I'm going to be taking on England 6 with Shadow's Darkfire. Now, this is a game that I punish myself with in my spare time. I think it's some kind of masochism. But since the addition of the Darkfire aspect, this feels like a much more winnable contest. This is one that I was just playing just for fun while I drank my morning coffee. Not yet able to use words. So I'm going to see if I can do it again. This is board F, so I think I'm just going to see if I can do it again. I am far from consistently winning this game against England. I think you can just lose this purely based on bad luck. Though, yeah, like if you just get your blight all kind of clustered in one corner, you just kind of lose. That's a little bit sad. Okay, so I've been using a new to me opening with shadows as well, which I think the extra card has really made even more viable, which is basically spamming growth 3. So growth 3, growth 3, growth, reclaim, growth 3, maybe gaining powers around here. It just never occurred to me to do that, and then I just watched a Kaelan North intro to Shadows video because I thought, oh, that's a short video, and it just never occurred to me to do that, despite having done this matchup before, but kind of going for like low mages essentially. Whereas this actually you might be able to get to a fairly consistently high win rate. I think if you're on favourable boards, I think this is a relatively favourable board. You've got the relatively easy to gather in for your turn 1 favours. You don't have land types all clustered together on the coast. Yeah, so I think this might be a favourable board, but I don't really typically go in for the science of that too closely. The one thing you have to do is you have to be pretty precise about your presence placement. Because you have to think of a few turns ahead. So, okay, we've got Wetland Explore. Okay. And this board is a bit funny because you start with 3 presents. I don't think that's ideal, but it's fine. And you need to be constantly thinking about your presence placement for your mantles, for your crops, for your concealing shadows, because you don't get the range boost anymore. You just get better things. You just get better things, and you have immortal or semi-immortal presence. So, yeah, I think the fairly obvious thing to be doing turn 1 is mantling from here, because this is a coast, so we are going here. The nice thing about this, as well, is it makes the early game a bit easier. Okay, so we're definitely going here, and we're going in here. See, against England 6, I used to go totally different. I'd be going top track. I'd be looking at as many mages as I could. And I think, occasionally the casino gives you a win doing that. Okay, so we mantle out of here, and we favours called Jew. You do this most of the time, turn 1. This actually here is a preventable build, which is also pretty blessed. Okay, so we'll gather from here. Where would we rather gather? Probably into the sands. I don't like gathering away from the beasts, but skipping a build is pretty luxurious, and you want to do it when you can. Okay, so we have a mountain here, so we don't want to set up a big counterattack in a blighted land. So I think with that in mind, we will do our favours first in here to get the fear. And it's not ideal to be putting your Dahan with disease, but you just you just you just have to work with what you've got in this match. Okay, so we actually get to do this other little trick. We don't have a Concealing Shadows, but we'll just play it for the fear and, crucially, access to tier 2 of our innate, which is pretty nice. So we need to put our presence in here so we can Crop Swither and Fade in there. And we'll just be playing out everything. Look at that, wow. And we get top tier thanks to Darkfire being cool. We need to make sure we destroy this particular Explorer. And then that means that this land should be taken care of. All going well. And we have a Concealing Shadows, which is purely for getting this generating fear. Okay. Okay, this is funky. You don't care about destroying presence, but we do care about energy. Our energy game is very, very tight. We don't care about discarding our power cards. Yeah, I think we do this. Mantle is the card that people typically forget. Um, so that's tempting to do that first this time, but we don't really have an actually useful to us mantle. But it is still too fast fear. And the Favor's called Dew, that's so much fear, and it does come in handy for repositioning Dahan. So we are going to be down on a card. This is better for our elements because it has both sun and fire. But yeah, I really don't want to lose an energy. One thing this does allow is repositioning our presence. So we could kind of push this somewhere useful. It's a bit of a shame to not have presence in here in with our Dahan, because that means that we miss out on potentially really beneficial events. Um, hmm, I think actually based on that, I will push from here into here so that we benefit from events. And we're already set up for a future Concealing Shadows. Okay, fine. Okay, so we can push our Dahan around. So I don't really want to push from here. I mean, I could do just a kind of rescue, but it's only a single Dahan. I think I think probably we just kind of hope that we get either a defend card or some support there. Oh, I suppose what I could have done is done the same kind of thing in here as I was going to do in here, but this is more critical because it has the blight. So I think we're just going to leave that as it is. Okay, so we get the mountain build, and we have jungle now, so that's good. We'll be able to Concealing Shadows in there. So we can make sure this land's dealt with by doing the damage, and then we can Crocs Wither. So generates a boatload of fear, and this is now clear. So we should be good on this Ravage. And we have this, which is a 2 Dahan. So our odds of the event card clearing this up aren't terrible. Our terror level 1 fear card, it's probably not going to do very much either. And so, yeah, you can witness how tight the energy game is, though. Yeah, this is going to have a somewhat hampered turn this turn, but we actually don't have a lot that we have to do. So, yeah, let's see what we get offered. Gift of Nature's Connection is very tempting because it is 0 cost. Reaching Grasp is... we do have some issues with targeting, but I don't know if this is worth a play. I think it's almost certainly Gift of Nature's Connection, just for the extra energy. Let's quickly sanity check if this does anything for us this turn. We don't care about presence placed at this turn. We're placed well. We don't really have any good reason to be in there. I suppose with Reaching Grasp, I could use Concealing Shadows, but we've got a good Concealing Shadows next turn, and I really don't want to reclaim because I want to, if I can, get to the 3 energy as soon as possible. So yeah, we'll go Gift of Nature's Connection. Okay, so we've got a Ravage here that could go either way. I guess we can slightly influence it by yoinking the Explorer out if we can. So we're definitely not Concealing Shadows. We have only 1 energy, so we'll probably play that for energy. So we have Favors called Dew here. Maybe stacking an Unquenchable Flames in here could be good for an even better counterattack. That means we can potentially kill more stuff in there. Yeah. Yeah, we don't want to Favors this turn either. So it's, I think probably this. This is often a card you just forget. Yeah, so we keep our Concealing Shadows for next turn, and we have a single Explore. Though we can actually... it's tempting to use this to buff our Innate to generate 2 Fear, but I think the 2 energy is a little bit more critical. Yeah. Yeah, and the main thing is we want to avoid being on 0 energy a turn for too much longer. That's not enough energy. case you were wondering if it was enough energy. It's not. It's really not. So we'll grab this explorer into here, and yeah, and we'll just gain energy. See what the event has for us. We don't care about that. Beast destroying explorers. Oh, free Dahan. Yes, I'll take it. Sure, I'll happily have a 5th Dahan in there. A land matching a Ravage card, 1 damage. Wow. So we didn't get lucky here, and we didn't get to clear it either. Ah, maybe I could have explored in. Oh, no. Don't get ahead of yourself, pheasant. Don't get ahead of yourself. Okay, so we could kill this with Unquenchable Flames. So we're doing 10 damage in here, which is enough to do 8. So we could have another town die in this counterattack. The thing to be wary of is these big counters sometimes just don't happen. The game just says, no, we're not having a Ravage there. And you just cry. Yeah, I think just killing this off is probably worth it. Probably. Though there's so much action happens in these coastal lands. Might be a mistake. But I'm doing it. Yeah. We take the easy town kill where we get it. Okay, so we have some. It's also preventing a city build. I think, yeah, there is some value in that. Okay, so we have Ravages here this turn. We'll be concealing in here. And we'll see. Probably, I think we just gain a minor power here, hoping to get a defend or just anything useful. And finally, we're free of having to go grow 3. Yeah, but we're only really free of it because we gained that extra energy last turn. Okay, Sap. That's pretty good, isn't it? That's a pretty good card, I hear. I hear people like it. Let's not burn too many brain cells on this. Yeah, we just take the defend card. And we have a presence placement. This is somewhere that is worth burning a few brain cells on. This turn's going to be Sap, Shadows, and then probably Favors to reposition. There's builds here and here. Though if we... That's a city build. If we kind of address one of these lands, then that's one fewer land to worry about next turn. And we might even be able to just let it go. Push to 3. So I think we go in here. Because this is something we can just deal. We can just use Mantle to deal with it. Let's just think about that. It's a bit of a toss-up between actually any of these, really. We can't get the second tier of our innate because Sap doesn't have good elements for that. So Mantle just pushes out there, which is good, and 2 fear. If we favors called due, we can bring all these into here for potentially another Concealing Shadows or Sap, but that forces us to reclaim, which we don't particularly like. I suppose we could let this jungle go this turn. We could just not Sap in here. We could let this jungle go this turn. This presence would get pushed somewhere. Could be somewhere useful. We'd lose our Sacred Site though. So maybe we just relocate to here. And then maybe we prioritize this. Because if we're Concealing Shadows in here, this is going to blight. And if this is this is also going to build a city, that's also awkward. So maybe we Concealing Shadows in here. We favors in here, so we bring forward Dahan in here. We get our 3 fear, and then we can defend that next turn with Sap. Which also means that if we play either of these, we'll get the next tier of our innate, which is a bunch more fear. This actually is a preventable build, so that's pretty worthwhile. So let's do that. And Crops Wither and Fade somewhere. Do we Mantle? Tricky. If we are bringing 4 Dahan into here, then they will be able to do 8 damage, which would clear this land of Explorer Town City, which is pretty good. And if we do enough damage in here, potentially we might even be able to kind of pocket this area and not have England builds, which is definitely worthwhile. I feel like Hmm. So we can prevent this build. And so next turn we'd be looking at a major, playing sap or playing the other one. I guess we'll have more information. We're preventing this build. We're going to have a defend with 4 Dahan next turn. We're placing other presence next turn. Yeah, let's go mantle. We'll just see what happens. We could be pushing from here, for example. Okay, so we have our big conceal, and we are going to prevent this build. There's only one adjacent building, which is nice. Ooh. Oh yeah, I always weave lies. Always. Oh, our energy game is so tight. Yeah, I think we spend our energy. We're about to go to 3 energy. So we'll have 3 energy for next turn. So if we look at a major, we might not be able to play it. But that's fine. Unless we get something like Tigers Hunting. This is definitely worth doing, because if we are winning... Oh, it also upgrades a fear card. If we are winning, it's because... we've won at a Terra 4. Though, do I just forget an air card? I mean, I could forget one of these, but these are both generating a lot of fear. I mean, could forget Concealing Shadows, but we're setting up for that next turn. Yeah, I think I just pay the energy. And maybe don't look at a major next turn. Look at a minor power. Ooh, free beast. Don't mind if I do. I'm going to add it in here in case it kind of does something that prevents this this current ravage. And we're adding a wilds. Let's add it in this empty land. Let's see if we get anything from this fear card. Defend 6. That doesn't really help us. So we will take 2 blight this turn, and we'll go to Blighted Island. This is another point where Darkfire it's so handy having kind of somewhat immortal presence. Okay, so I'm going to push this one out, and then when this one blights, I'm going to push the presence back in. Do I want Sacred Sites for anything? Just need 1 somewhere. So Mantle of Dread. Yeah, I'll just push it to here. Okay, we do 10 damage. So how many explorers have we got? I don't want to actually kill all the explorers if I can avoid it. So I think I will... Yeah, see that extra... The extra bad damage from a Badlands would have been nice in there. Okay, so... Ooh, Unnatural Proliferation. Don't mind if I do. So we're going to 3 anyway. Actually, this is one of the ones I haven't seen that often yet. Okay, so we will get to make another Sacred Site somewhere. We're about to be pushed out from here. Gee, this seems like quite a sensible Sacred Site. And we get to add another Dahan. We've already got 5 here, which is quite a lot. Let's not have 1 on their own. This is in with a Badlands as well. This might just decide to destroy this town at some point. And adding 2 towns. I think we definitely don't want to add on the coast. The trouble with adding... Oh, they've actually got extra buildings here now as well, so they will build in here. The trouble with adding on the coast is that it's definitely going to come up, whereas if we add inland, there's a chance that it just won't come up, and then we'll be quite happy. I think, given that all of these lands have blight, I think this is the only viable option. So I think we go in there. And... Oh yeah, and because a blight went down, we have to destroy this one. So I think I'll just push it in with the Dahan. If you've got 4 Dahan land, the event, you can get things like free minor powers, all sorts of wonderful benefits. Of course, now this is actually a problem. It's not near our biggest beat stick, really. So that might have been a mistake. Yeah, maybe pushing to there would have been better. And maybe pushing presence to there would have been better, because then we could have used... Mistakes were made. Possibly mistakes were made, or maybe these were just really good moves. We can deal with this ravage though, so that's pretty nice. I think we push into there. We also have favors called Kill Jew, which I think the main called Jew, which I think the main thing we want to do is make sure we generate the fear from it. I guess this is a very straightforward favors called Jew kind of area because it's going to be a good amount of fear in total. Yeah, yeah, we prioritize generating fear. Yeah, we bring everyone. Yeah, we'll leave these ones here. They're a bit more able to potentially intervene in here. This is probably just going to get let go, and I might just kind of push things out of it to try and not lose to the England loss condition. Okay, we'll push out of here. Yeah, and again, pushing away from the coast. I think the era of preventable builds is over. So we have a 2 damage ravage in here and a no ravage in there. So that's pretty nice. They are going to build a 5th and potentially a 6th in here. So this is a high priority for us to address. They're not ravaging here this turn, so we can do a bit of crops withering in there. So I think that's probably a good thing to prioritize, because we could just get killed by the event deck if we're not careful. So we can get to... Oh, we've got an extra presence placement. So we can actually get to 4 energy this turn. So this is looking okay. We definitely want to use all 3 plays if we can. Though we will get the single explorer manipulation. But yeah, we are going to need a major power at some point, so this is that point. Let's see what we get. Okay, so Terrifying Nightmares is trivially easy for us to threshold because our fire is moon and vice versa. We won't be able to threshold it this turn, but it's still potentially very useful. We can use it to quite expensively prevent this blight from going down, which I think is actually it's not as inexpensive as 0 though, is it? Plague ships. We actually can threshold this quite easily. Bizarrely, do we have any disease lying around? That's actually pretty interesting. Oh god. The trouble when I get offered the Nature Incarnate mages, I'm just not so familiar with them. I have to really think about them. The benefit of this is something we can play this turn, and we can also play these other things. Obviously, the Wild Token doesn't do a lot, but 3 damage is worthwhile, and we do have Badlands kicking around. And it's Blight removal. So that's pretty tempting. Do we have a Sacred Site? We do have a Sacred Site. We can also potentially use it to clean up the Blight as a priority. Bit more fear is nice. 3 damage. Do we still have Unquenchable Flames? We do still have that. Terrifying Nightmares, though, is so much fear. And easy to threshold. I'm not sure I want to play it this turn, though. Instead of Crops Wither. Because we want to address this land. I guess we could address it by pushing a whole load out with Terrifying Nightmares, but then... I suppose I could... No. I could no. A tricky decision for a pheasant to make. The blight removals is very tempting as well. And funnily enough, our sands don't have any blight in yet, but that is going to change very soon. We have a blighted jungle. We've got 2 blighted jungles, so it would make sense to clean at least one of those up. Yeah, probably the coastal jungle. We could just clean that up. It's a very expensive way of cleaning it up. And the 3 damage, unfortunately, doesn't even kill anything. Oh, no, it'll kill the town that builds. So it'll be 2 fear. So this is going to generate 2 fear. That will generate 2 fear and clear this. This obviously has much more potential in the future to do stuff for us. But this could also be clearing cities, but it's very off element. The main thing is that we miss out on the chance to play something useful this turn, which is sad. We don't want to do that. Don't want that. Oh yeah, we're just one energy short. I feel like this might be quite a critical moment. We've probably got blight happening in 2 of these lands, and then we're down to a singular blight. I think we might be doing some of this. Doesn't feel great though. What do we lose? We keep Concealing Shadows for there next turn because it's gonna blight regardless. I think we lose Mantle. Yeah, I think Mantle's the board's getting a bit too congested for Mantle to be super relevant. And we need a presence in here for our Crops Wither. Yeah, so we'll put that in there. We'll play everything. Yeah, so yeah, just quickly checking if I had 1 extra energy, I think I would take the other one. What about these explorers? Let's bring an explorer in with this beast. Okay, no ravage with disease, and Dahan being pushed around potentially. Okay, so does it make much difference if these are all cities? Yes, it does actually, because we need to downgrade to keep this number in line. So we'll upgrade these, and we have to push from here. That's a shame. It is 2 as well. So this means that this is becoming a not very interesting Concealing Shadows. This is the next Ravage. I suppose if I am being forced to push, I will push. I don't actually have much choice. I'll push into this jungle. They might clean up this blight off their own bat. Okay, then we can gather things around. I was going to Crops Wither in here, but maybe if I just actually no, if I gather this town into maybe this land, then maybe I can just Crops Wither somewhere else. Maybe in here. I don't think there's anything reasonable that we're preventing here. Preventing a city build here, I guess, makes this a bit more easy to solve in the future. I think maybe redistributing our kind of London might be good. Tricky. Okay, and we are adding some strife. And they're taking a damage, which is... Ooh, interesting. So if we add a strife here, then this means that we'll be able to kill this with Ravaged Undergrowth, which feels pretty good. That feels very worthwhile. Very worthwhile indeed. Okay, so continuing to build there, London. So we'll do the original plan, I think, and we will get to destroy this city. And it's just about generating as much fear as we can eke out of this. I guess there's a small chance that this might one day. Let's be real, we're not preventing any of those. We'll play into events and we'll push this in with a Badlands where it might just do something. I'm not sure exactly what it would do, but it would definitely be something. We'll downgrade that to just lower that number. Okay, so we're looking down the barrel of 2 Ravages that we can't do anything about. I suppose we could sap, but let's look at something. Let's just think about. We are definitely reclaiming. We can't afford to do nothing. Okay, so it's 2 Ravages. A build here, build here. Now this has had its blight cleared, which means that maybe I can just relax. I'm wondering if I'm just kind of doing a lot of slithering. Maybe it's that kind of game. So that's water plant. Is the threshold relevant here? Against England, is it? I mean, is there a world where we could be kind of pushing everything in for big dirty counterattacks? Maybe. I mean, if we clean up this blight, we could kind of combo Favors Corju and Ravaged, and sorry, Slither. We could combo them, so we're setting up a big counterattack, cleaning up the blight. Yeah, that feels reasonable. I guess the issue is that we'd be asking ourselves to do 2 Concealing Shadows in a row. Because this is still a worthwhile Concealing Shadows. It should basically generate 3 fear. Okay, let's not pre-think it. I guess the consideration is, do we look at a minor power? Do we look at another major? We might find something that's much more dramatically powerful than this. Because this is only really doing something in conjunction with the flames in terms of killing a city. But these are kind of all helping the board, and we're playing a good element card for us. Each one of these, I kind of a big fan of Badlands, big fan. And the nice thing is that this is quite affordable. Yeah. So do we want another minor power? If we're playing Ravage, we're playing Favors. I guess we could just use Sap in here. We even have the potential to threshold this, but I don't think it's valuable against England. Maybe if we got this a little bit earlier. So maybe we Sap in this land, Ravaged with Unquenchable. Bit of an odd turn, but it sets us up to have a good turn with Concealing. Crops Favor. Oh, we need to Favor this turn. So that's a 5 energy turn. I mean, setting up for a big counter in here is still pretty good. Yeah, I like it. So let's look at another minor power. See if we get something relevant. Ooh, okay. Very interesting. Sky Stretches. It's kind of dependent on something else to be useful, whereas Gift of Constancy could help us really power up. Maybe getting towards these higher further down our tracks is what I'm trying to say. Very much off element. But if it means we can maybe reuse our Concealing, reuse this, or reuse something better, that's good. And it helps us with our energy game. So it could even push to 4. Does mean that the turn planning becomes even more complicated. Marvellous. Yeah, I mean, it even means we could grab this again. Because there is going to be this Ravage here. Because, yeah, that's going to be a pretty worthy counterattack. Currently, it's going to be an 8. It's going to be an 8. If we can actually generate enough fear to get to Terror 3, though, that's when the game starts really, things start working a bit in your favour. A bit more in your favour, anyway. Turning one of our slow powers fast is very valuable. These often, I mean, like fast favors is pretty good. It's a lot of fear as well. But using 2 of our 3 card plays to set it up is not ideal. If the fast fear would take me to Terror 3, I would very much consider it. What does Constancy do for us? Well, this turn we want to clean up this blight. We want to bring in here. If we go Constancy, we don't get the second tier of our innate because we're totally off element. And also we'd be skipping the sap here. And I think this is worthwhile, this sap. It's very easy. It's a very easy 2 fear from the Ravage. Very easy blight saved. This is a big clear for us. So, I mean, maybe I don't bother with this. Tricky. Tricky. This gives us all sorts of kind of YOLO value as well, which is not nothing. This, though, does it even fit in? If we want to clear this blight, we want to bring in counterattackers. And we want to defend there. There's just no space to play either of these this turn. And then next turn, we have the Concealing Shadows. So, I mean, are we kind of waiting to get to 4 plays to use either of these? If we do get to 4 plays, then this is obviously going to be really valuable. This, though, could just mean a last-ditch major grab works. This is an odd game, because if we're really sincerely going into Blight cleanup, we're kind of working towards a longer game, in which case the Consi might be valuable to just help us get to these further down. It's a toss-up. I'm not sure. I'm going to go Constancy. Let's stop going around in circles there. So we do this, we do this, and we do this. Defend, kill a town, big favors. Don't get any of our innate, but we don't really care about the top rung now at this stage of the game. And that's what I'm doing. Our spirit is changing. Okay. Do we have bureaucrats? Oh, we must do. There's loads of buildings there. 2 fear, thank you, and some free defend. Okay, so we are adding a strife in a land with Tahan. It's going to reduce health. The health. Oh, actually, if we put it in here, it means that our ravage will kill a city, and then they'll build another city, and then we can kill that as well. So yeah, that works out fine. Okay, so we have a good news ravage. It's not quite as good news ravage as it would have been if they hadn't pushed our Dahan out. Okay, where do we put this presence? Let's just make a sacred site in here. Okay, coastal lands. Okay, well the coast is all clean. It's all very clean in there. Okay, so I guess the other thing to think about is, do we change our favors called Jew space? There are currently 6 invaders in there, so we can't get the fear. So yeah, we are definitely doing it this way around. So that had a reduced health because of the fear card. Oh, and I get to push this. I guess we're just hoping for help from the event deck here. Let's push it in there. And favors called Jew. Oh god, there's not even a city in there anymore. It's pathetic. That is not the... must have miscalculated that. That is not the big, glorious counterattack I thought it would be. So that's a 9 damage ravage. So it is a better candidate for Concealing Shadows. Because this is just... we can just defend this with sap. However, that means reclaiming sap, which we don't want to do. But 3 fear is 3 fear, and we are getting very close to terror level 3. If we need to find 3 fast fear, and that's where, of course, Sky Stretches would have been good, because we would have been guaranteed 3 fast fear. However, we can just be gaining another card this turn. And we could afford a major, so yeah, that's fine. Let's yeah, so we want to prioritize the fear generation. So we will do that. And we will take away from... yeah, this one's likely to die, so we don't want that. And this is plenty. We'll leave this pair in there. As soon as we've generated the fear, so we're at terror level 3. Okay, so we have this, which I can just let go. We have this, which... my Concealing Shadows in it. Am I just letting both of these go? Potentially. We've got constant connection. This is an interesting one. So I think tricky. If we can generate 3 fast fear, we upgrade 2 fear cards as well. We can generate 3 fast fear just by hitting concealing shadows and playing these 2 to hit our innate. So we don't need to rely on a major to do that. And I'm sure these will achieve something with these. So probably we'll just be doing this anyway. I really value upgrading. Oh, we're already at Terror 3. Okay, Pheasant. Burnt my brain out with this match, I think. Okay. So yeah, generating another fear card's good. Let's look at another major. We've got a very cheap turn, relatively cheap turn ahead of us. And do we have any forget fodder? Not really. Not really. We are probably reclaiming next turn anyway. Yeah, let's look at another major power. Ooh, Indo Claymore. Now this, back in the days when I used to play as like the Fairy Spirit slightly differently, when the Spirit was very different to be fair, this was one of the majors that did make victory possible. We have Constancy as well. It feels that it's probably a no-brainer. Especially given our energy constraints. So I think I'll just take that rather than going into the woods. The woods? The weeds, even. So we can have a 0. We can have a 4 plus 2 zeros. We do actually have a presence placement as well. It's tempting to actually go down this track, though the reclaim. Yeah, actually no, we go energy track because we are probably reclaiming next turn. Though we can constancy into claim. We can even threshold claim to get fast fear that way. Interesting. So we do favour having the earth now. I think you always want to hang on to Crops Wither. Sap is a defend card. Wow, what a time to be alive. This is our only other earth card. We might really value that 3 fast fear, even if we don't value it now. Maybe it's a Crops Wither. We do have this very expensive way of preventing builds now. Yeah, we get rid of Crops Wither. And because we have to reclaim next turn... Oh no, we can... Yeah, I'm going to go energy for that reason. It also gives us a bit more leeway with what we're doing. So, where do we want this presence? By forgetting Crops Wither, we've somewhat simplified our presence placement game. Do have Ravage built here, so it's a bit more important to keep this one blight free. I'm just wondering about whether we want to Indomitable in here instead. I think we're going Constancy, Indomitable, Unquenchable, and maybe we're just letting one of these go. The good thing about this is it would just we'll just blitz through our... We need the 5 energy to play all 3 of these, but we'll get 2 energy back. Okay. Yeah, clear as mud, I'm afraid. I think if I tried to explain what my brain is hinting at, I would just be, pretending at this point. So we've got the threshold on Indomitable there. We've got 2 fear cards. I think with 5 Dahan there, what we do is we actually prevent, we use Indomitable in here, prevent this. We'll then have 3 fear cards. And this is almost exclusively just to buff that. Okay, and let's bring Explorer into here from here. And Constancy, and we'll claim. So yeah, we're hoping that the Dahan are able to take care of this land. Now, I guess I probably should think about the future turns. If I've Constancied, it means I can claim again next turn. Because I'll get this back in my hand, and I can play a turn that's Shadows, Connection, Constancy. They're going to be building on the coast. So I could maybe be concealing Shadows in here. And I could be then playing Indomitable in either of these again. I would be looking at another card, so it's a chance that I would get the threshold. But yeah, we are just trying to accelerate into OP-ness now. OP-ness. Being OP might be a better phrasing of that. Oh, yeah. Given that we've got these really useful minor powers, I think I will try and get to 4. Okay, and we can destroy our presence. So it's just you just feel good about all these effects that want us to destroy our presence because we don't care. Just don't care. So we're going to keep Sacred Site targeting the whole board. So I think and it's just good to be in with Dahan. This one's somewhat relevant, and so we'll push from here into here. I say that, and then I don't maintain my my Sacred Site targeting. Though this does have the extra range, so it's fine. Do we care about isolating any of these lands? Not particularly. I suppose we may as well. Because it should mean... I don't know if it means anything. Okay, each player may gather 2 explorers or towns in a coastal land. So, defend 4 in coastal lands. So there aren't any ravages in the coast, and we are running into coastal builds. So I don't really see... Is there any benefit to this at all? No, is the answer to that. So I think we just skip that one. Thanks, Terror Level 3 Fear card. So we're adding a Strife to an Invader. With the -1 health. That might be relevant with Flames. I mean, there is a chance that we will... that this means we won't have a Blight here, which I think is somewhat valuable. It's not that valuable. This is going to die anyway. Yeah, I don't think that's quite worth it. I feel like we're... Yeah, I think we just accept that. And that's one fear we'll get from that counterattack, and then we want to combine this with Unquenchable... No, it won't be enough. It won't be enough with Unquenchable Flames. The Strife could interact with other events, though, so I think I'm just going to Strife in here. Ooh, Angry Mobs. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, so we'll destroy this town. Sure. So this is the kind of Terror Level 3 Fear card I was hoping for. Kill that town. And we've now got another Fear card. That's first class. I want to make sure we kill the city that doesn't have Strife. So we're adding a Strife to Invader. I think this is good. Just preventing this this Blight here, it makes things a lot more comfortable. Okay. And that's not happening. That's counterattacked. Okay. Okay, so we've got our Unquenchable Flames now. Let's just think what's happening here. So we have a Build Ravage here. That's going to be a 7 damage Ravage next turn. We have a 8 damage Ravage there. I think that's a good candidate for concealing. And we have a Ravage here that is a 5 damage Ravage. Unquenchable Flames doesn't really do much in any of those situations. I suppose it makes this counterattack slightly better if it all goes to plan with concealing and doing 5 damage instead of 4. But that doesn't really make much difference because we need more of a boost than that. So I think really this is going to be about placing for help from the events. We're actually only 7 Fast Fear away from winning. Can I just generate that from hand? I don't think I can quite do it in the fast phase, so I think we are committed to another slow phase. This also does the whole they don't heal, so I could just do a couple of damage to a city Um, so that might be relevant for a bit more fast sphere. And how many cities are on the board? Yeah, too many to just yoink them. Okay, let's put this in here. Let's do 2 damage does the heal to this city here. And the reclaim, I think we go with the original reasoning. So I think Indomitable. We won't be thresholding it unless we get really lucky with our card that we get. Actually, no, we don't have to get that lucky because we have this. So we're concealing shadows in here, Indomitable Claim in here, letting this one go. So we're going to be looking at a new card and going to 4 plays probably. So let's look at a minor power. Because then we can kind of fit it in with this, hopefully, if it's on element. So we're looking for... So that's perfectly on element. We would still need to use Gift to gain Earth, though. So we may as well be... We don't need to be perfect. We could just get a really good card like Nature's Resilience and prevent this blight from happening as well. Okay, let's do that. And we want to go to 4 plays to play all this. Oh, wait, no, Pheasant, that doesn't work. That doesn't work, Pheasant. It doesn't work because this only gives you 2 of the same, of course, so I do need to do this if I want to hit this threshold because it won't give me Sun, Earth. Yeah, I think I value hitting that threshold. It feels like this game should be won. I've been burnt before though. So yeah, we can just play everything. Where are we with this? Yeah, I don't think we could quite have won it in the first phase. I think we could come close. Okay, so we're concealing in here because we've got the counter attack, and I need to give myself some rocks. Here you go, Pheasant, have some rocks. We'll do this, and we will go to 5 plays. Bam. And we'll do this to gather an explorer, I guess. It's funny, I have in the past played around the fear card we got where the explorers kill buildings, and I was like, oh, is this silly? Is this trying to, silly playing around that? And turns out sometimes it helps. Cultures mix and clash. Counting this is always chore. Okay, so we do have to replace a Dharm with a town. That's fine. As long as we don't deny this fear. Oh no, we are denied. The disease denied it. Dagnammit. Okay, so we can remove an invader with one of those things. I guess we might be... Yeah, we're too far away. Let's not overthink this. Let's just remove invader from here. Okay, so presuming we survive this, that's game. So let's just play it out. So a bit unfortunate that we don't get to win just yet. That's just the way it is sometimes. Go in here. Okay, so we go into the slow with 1. Generate 1 fear now. I don't think I've ever used this to do that. I think I always use it for that. Okay, we go there. So now we just need 1 fear. And yeah, so that's 2 on the trot, I guess. Good old weep. So maybe this newfangled opening is the way to do it. Maybe it is. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. If you like the video, please subscribe. I really appreciate that. And I'll catch you in the next one, which will happen in the future. The trouble with this one, you have to be so precise. You've got to, you've really got to think about every presence placement. But yeah, getting Indo at the end is a true blessing. I think It was funny how Slithers actually really came in, made it much more comfortable. I don't normally rate blight removal in this match, but the fact it still kept the game moving in terms of generating some fear, destroying some stuff. But yeah, God, this used to be such a cursed matchup. I mean, it is still somewhat cursed. You can get really unlucky with the event. Yeah, I mean, getting these as well, though. Yeah, and obviously Indomitable Claim is incredible. Yeah, well, I'm quite pleased with that. All right, that's enough rambling. I'll catch you next time.